Why do millions of American Christians care so deeply about a Middle East desert country the size of New Jersey? The answer has much to do with the work of an author named Cyrus Scofield, whose 1909 reference Bible became the standard in evangelical seminaries. It's considered the founding document of Zionist Christianity, so much in the news recently after the media war between Tucker Carlson and Mark Levin. But who was Cyrus Scofield? And why is his book so essential to the Christian Zionist apostasy? Sincere thanks to all our new subscribers and viewers. We humbly ask that you give a thumbs up and share this, and that you please subscribe to keep high-quality content coming your way. Now back to the video. For a nation to commit the sin of anti-Semitism brings inevitable judgment. The Scofield Reference Bible so reads, accepted as gospel by the millions of Christians who support Israel unconditionally. Trouble is, these words are commentary and are not in the ancient text. Led by politically connected demagogues like Ralph Reed and John Hagee, these Christians hold Israel sacred in line with an end-times catechism hinging on the rapture and the Battle of Armageddon. And worry not, for these valiant toilers for the faith are well rewarded for their devotion to our greatest ally. In the late 1970s, Baptist preacher Jerry Falwell was awarded a Learjet by the Israeli state. Falwell's personal friend, then Prime Minister Menachem Begin, was only the first of three 1940s terror gang leaders later elected to Israel's highest office. Tucker Carlson recently ignited a media brushfire, calling Christian Zionism not only heresy, but, quote, the oldest of Christian heresies. The lunatic response from Israel firsters Mark Levin, Randy Fine, and Ben Shapiro has been unrelenting. With Christian Zionism out in the open, here we drill deep into the past to uncover its origin in the Scofield Reference Bible. Before exploring Scofield's life, it's important to mention one of his key influences, namely John Nelson Darby. Darby founded Dispensationalism and coined the Rapture, which entered pop culture through the novels of Hal Lindsey and Tim LaHaye. Decades before, the Scofield Reference Bible sparked the Christian Zionist heresy with its emphasis on Israel as key to the coming end-times struggle between Gog and Magog, the final battle of Armageddon. But who was Scofield? Answer: a Civil War veteran who became a lawyer and briefly a congressman. A Kansas newspaper article called him a shyster generally, claiming he had spent time in jail for forgery and fraud, had abandoned his children and his wife, whom he divorced at a time when divorce was not socially acceptable as it is today. The source claims Scofield even took his mother-in-law for her last dime before absconding. Such a moral paragon seems more than fit to be the founder of the Christian Zionist schism. In spite of his shady beginnings, Scofield went on to become a prominent minister and later led the funeral service of legendary evangelist Dwight L. Moody. Scofield's story turned bizarre in 1901 when he was admitted to New York City's Lotus Club, a private organization for men in the arts, not only the visual kind, but also the stage, music, and literature. Members have included Mark Twain, William Randolph Hearst, Orson Welles, painter Andrew Wyeth, DNA discoverer James Watson, and the like. As the author of The Incredible Scofield and his book points out, Christian preachers from the hinterlands are not often recruited by such exclusive New York City social clubs. As of 1901, Scofield had only written shorter work, such as tracts and articles, and was years away from completing his legendary Bible. For the New York City art scene, the Lotus Club's milieu, Scofield's resume was effectively empty. It defies belief that Scofield earned admission to the Lotus Club on merit. The evidence suggests, rather, that a key member of its literature committee favored Scofield, but with hidden motives. That member was Samuel Untermyer, prominent Jewish lawyer and backer of the Young Zionist movement. Theodor Herzl had published his founding document, The Jewish State, only 5 years earlier. One source credibly claims that Untermyer and other wealthy Zionists funded Scofield's career and his later European travels, ultimately using Scofield to implant Zionist thought into mainstream American Christianity. The vehicle for this subversion was Scofield's Reference Bible. Without Untermyer's support, it's unlikely that Scofield's Bible would have been published. If anyone should doubt Untermyer's Zionist fanaticism, read the speech he made in July of 1933. In it, he urged a worldwide boycott of German-made goods, railing against, quote, the curse that has descended upon benighted Germany, which has thereby been converted from a nation of culture into a veritable hell of cruel and savage beasts. He went on to stress embarking on a, quote, holy war. Threatening Zionist clatter of 1933 echoes today, except now the targets are the Palestinians and anyone daring to question America's bankrolling of the Greater Israel Project. When Tucker rang that bell, media thugs repeatedly called him the worst possible names, no doubt hoping to trigger an edgy psychopath into neutralizing Carlson, to borrow a word from Josh Hammer. Scofield's reference Bible has sold tens of millions of copies. And why is that important? We can draw a direct line of causation from its 1909 publication to the 2003 war in Iraq and today's support for Israel's genocide in Gaza. Without America's aid, Israel would collapse. And without millions of American Christian Zionist fanatics, America's aid to Israel would come to an end. There is hope for the future. The arrogant attacks of Mark Levin and Randy Fine against the mildly Israel-critical Tucker Carlson have backfired. More and more people are waking from the Zionist unreality, thanks to Israel's genocidal war without end in Gaza. The youth of America overwhelmingly reject Zionist-based Christianity and are poised to consign it to where it belongs, in the landfill of theology.